All right. Hey everyone, welcome to the live stream tonight. It's a late night. It's 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you guys are watching this live. And it's not the weekend, but it is Thursday. And we are finally finishing up this floor. So it's taking a little bit longer than expected because I I blended in doing the electrical when I put the floor in because I needed to conceal it underneath the floor. Due to the way that we needed to run everything and because of some components such as the Webasto heater, it had a fixed link sheath and I didn't want to change that, so I moved it up to the middle of the van and then along came all the other wires. We got our middle piece in first. Earlier today we put in the second piece, and tonight we're going to finish up doing the third piece so that we'll let this set up overnight, and then tomorrow we're going to clean everything up, sand it down, not the whole thing, but just the edges to get a nice clean transition. We're going to talk about how to do that in just a second, make clean transitions, and then everything will be prepped tomorrow for the lawn sill. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it tomorrow. I get some plans tomorrow afternoon, so I'll probably wait till I have a dedicated day to do that so I can mix up the epoxy, take my time, trace out the floor. So we might do that. So I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. But I know tonight we're putting in this third panel. And if you guys have been following along with the flooring install, it's been a fun journey. This is a great binge watching videos because I think there's 11 videos now on this floor. It's not too crazy, but I'm hoping that it's going to help you as a DIYer see what I've done. If you want to improve on some things, you're completely welcome to. But I kind of keep going back to about the floor being technical because of our in-floor shower pan, the flip and fold seat, and this tray. And those have been challenges, but I think the biggest one was trying to conceal all the wires in the middle of the floor before I put this in, because once it goes in, it's in forever. It's not coming back out. Let's go ahead and move on to the next part. So the back of the van has my example of how I'd like to do my floor seams going forward because it's a bolted seam. Now, I picked up this idea from Humble Road, if you guys watched his channel on YouTube, and that is the way to get a nice clean transition, because what happens is over time, if you just have it glued down, the boards can kind of move and flex with the van. It's not necessarily a bad thing, you don't want things to crack, but as they flex, there's a little hump over time that gets created by that the lawn sill or your flooring being flexed. So my plan is to have those two pieces of 1-inch aluminum that's embedded in the floor. That's going to allow it so that it has a nice flush surface to mount to. And then it also has a sheet metal screw in it that holds it down. So not only do you have the adhesive that is pretty much doing all the work, the screw is that extra bit of security to get to take this side and bring them true to each other. And then that seam just pretty much vanishes. We're going to go a step above, and right here, this is an example. So right here, what we have is the first thing you want to do is you want to countersink your hole. Let me see if I can get this lighting fixed for you. Guess you guys are wanting to do this. Give me 1 second. I will get this. There we go. We'll just do this temporary. So here is your hold this countersink bit, and then you just want to do it to the diameter of the head of the screw, just like that. And so the easy way to do it is just drill down until you have it kind of matches the head of the bolt, just like that. And then when you get there, you're pretty much 99% there. So once you do it, you want to pre-drill your hole out so that when the screw goes down in there and it goes to grab the aluminum, that you're not fighting against the wood, you're only going into the metal. Now what I've done is I changed this. So I went from this setup with a self-tapping screw, like that, to a different setup because the fine threads on this, monitor my lighting here, the fine threads on here were stripping out. So what I did is I went and got these right here, number 10, 1.25 inches. So I had two problems. They were stripping out, and you see the bottom head was touching the bottom. That's pretty obvious. But the reason was I got too precise, and if this went too far down in the hole, even like a couple millimeters, it was going to touch. It's like barely touching. So I got these screws, but there's a difference to these screws. I just realized I need to find the bag. Let's see here. All right, there we go. I can be ready for when I'm going to do this. Okay, this is the new screw right there. So it doesn't have a self-tapping end. That's okay. Still designed for sheet metal, and it still has that that tapered head shape. So we use this screw now to go in our hole. And what's going to happen is, look, it's not going to bottom out. And so we're going to keep that one. But we do have to take a very tiny drill bit. So we're using a 5/64 drill bit. It's a little skinny guy right there. But this drill bit is enough to begin cutting our threads in the tip. And then because of our aluminum is not a very thick piece, the walls are not very thick, and they're soft, this is able to do the job and then create its own threads. And since the threads are much coarser, right there, since the threads are coarser, it's going to grab into that thinner aluminum better. So in hindsight, you can do two things. You can get thicker, 1-inch, thicker wall aluminum tubing and go with a finer thread, or stick with this, which you can buy at Lowe's, and get a coarser thread, which is my recommendation. So this is what it looks like to create that transition. And this is just on a sample piece, but you can see it's nice and flush. And then what we're going to do is we're going to finish it off the only way Nick works here, which is overdoing it. We're going to take some JB Weld 5-minute epoxy. This is the one. Be careful when you buy this. The wood is usually marked out and it doesn't say wood. There's only one of these packs, and I think it's the red, and it says wood. But we're going to take this and we're going to put it over this hole. We're going to take a metal scraper and we're just going to, we're going to wipe across it and then let that dry, and then we'll sand it down so this is super flush. Because what's going to happen is when we go to do the lawn sill, we're going to have a 100-pound roller rolling on this, and I don't want this to dimple in the epoxy. I want it to be perfect. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We can do this anytime. I probably will do this later, but that's just my plan. So hopefully this little explanation video will help you if you want to plan to do that. And last, this is going to be, it's adhered to the floor of the van with Loctite PL Marine Fast Cure. So this is pretty much the only thing that you can use to bond the metal of the van to the aluminum, the metal part of the van to the foam, and then the foam to the metal, and then metal to the wood. It's used for all those applications, and this stuff is impressive. It's really, really, really good. Almost beyond my expectations, because if I showed you an example here, the way that this adheres to the foam is really good. It almost does like a little bit of a melting in the foam. Do you see that? And so this bond is very, see that? Very strong. Okay, back to the video. Let's get the lighting back to where we want it. Nope, 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 nope. There you go. Okay. So let's see here. All right, looks pretty good. All right. Probably won't have anybody on for the live stream tonight, but if you guys are on there, definitely say hi while I'm working, or maybe you guys will see this the next day. Our next step is to go over a couple things that we did. So over here on the left, we modified the floor, and we cut this out of the wood right here. We did that so that our adventure wagon interior trim pieces can fit. So I'm going to pick up one really quick and just show you one side so you know what we're talking about. But this chunk is taken out so that this piece can slide down in behind, down past the wood panel. Now we haven't cut out the foam, but I'm going to do that after the fact. Of course, actually on this piece here, let's see here. Yeah, we'll cut that out after the fact. Because I don't want to cut out too much. I'm going to cut it with the razor. So next over here on the right hand side, we've got another piece. And so this piece was also cut out. This is going to allow us access to our fitting for our vent port on the water tank, as well as our drain valve port on the water tank. So we need to remove that piece of wood, and then after we glue this in, we'll come back and cut this out. We'll do it later, and then we'll vacuum it out. I want the wood piece to be my template. I don't want to cut that out and just assume that's where I traced it, even though it's extremely close. Okay, so next we have these two pieces. So these are through bolts. They go through the floor of the van, and these bolts right here, they have these chrome spacers. So these spacers go on bolts like this, and they allow it to be compressed without smushing the foam in the floor. And then what I've done up here up top is they don't make a spacer thinner than a 1/4 of an inch. So we have 3 washers that are making up that difference. And then when everything is compressed, it's going to be perfectly flush with the floor. And what these two are designed to do is, this will go in the Flatline Vanco pull-out tray. These keep it from going front to back. That's their job. The 4 behind there, their job is to make sure that when the full extension drawer slides out, that the whole thing doesn't pull out of the van. And these are all grade 8 bolts, and they are through the van chassis. So extremely strong, and it's going to be the strongest way to install this pull-out tray. So we're not bolting it into the floor, we're bolting it into the van itself. So extremely strong. Those back there, if you guys haven't watched the past streams, they have 2 pieces of aluminum. They're about this wide. So it expands across all the corrugations in the van, and it's just extremely strong connection. We just got these little pieces of tape here. They'll live there forever, but these little pieces of tape, they're designed so that this doesn't get shifted when I put the floor down. I want it to be exactly right where it is. Next, we are going to, next is pretty much gluing. So I've already taken the leaf blower, blowed everything off of here. It's nice and clean. My automatic gun from Milwaukee broke during the last live stream. And so if you guys know of this this gun doing what it did here, let me know, because I'm pretty good at operating tools, and for some reason it worked for a while, and then somehow it gets it catches on the inside somehow. I don't know if it's because of these tubes. I've never had a problem with any other tube, but I feel like maybe it's the viscosity, the thickness of this stuff is not good for that gun. So we are back to our tried and true handgun. Or caulk gun. All right, so next we are going to we'll start. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this out. Now, if you guys watched the past the other live streams, we mentioned that we want very thin beads when we put this down. So we're just going to do a very thin bead on this back lip here, just where the seam transition is. So just very thin. And then we just need to put some on our aluminum. That's going to go up underneath the screws. And so now we're just going to go back and forth doing our thin beads. And we want the thinness so that we don't have any raised areas in the floor. Because the raised areas mixed with airspace can possibly make a soft spot and then also make noise. We don't want that. We want these floors that we make and install to be silent. And I was using the Milwaukee caulk gun, and that it was doing a good job, but I also couldn't get it to make a fine bead like this. For some reason it kept, I didn't like doing this. I turned the speed down and it still didn't change it. That's okay, we're using the old school method still, or original method. Now sometimes there's these like these blobs that come out, and you'll need to take a scraper and get them up. They're like a dried piece inside the tube. So again, I don't know if that's like Lowe's quality. I mean, these have been on the shelf too long or something like that. You can kind of see I got even. It's even coming out, and then all of a sudden it changes. Yeah, so very, very thin caulking lines. Like so thin, as you can see, it's almost not connecting to itself when it comes out. That's what we're looking for. The caulk gun that we had, or when we caulked the bottom, that needed to be thick because it was helping with the leveling of the floor initially. Because believe it or not, the Ford van is not level on the inside, and not necessarily level, it actually has, sometimes it has like a crown to it. So this has like a crown. So you gotta be careful about that. Okay, it looks pretty good. Don't want to leave off these joints right here. All right, coming to the back. I need to change out my tube here in just a second. Now you do have 30 minutes to work with this stuff, so you don't have to rush, but I would still kind of be in a slight rush just in case something happens. You had to, I don't know what you have to do. Something. Phone, bathroom, something like that. Don't get distracted. How about that? All right. And when you see me bring the board over here, and the board looks like there's green paint on it, it is green paint, but that paint, it's just a cheap outdoor paint that I got at Lowe's. And what I mean cheap is it was on clearance because it was somebody, it's a good exterior paint that's mold resistant, but somebody just didn't like the color or something like that, and they just put it on the shelf. So you can get it for half price if you find that, if somebody just didn't want it. So I got it for 15 bucks. The most important paint that we're putting on here is the bonding primer. So the bonding primer is going to be what we put on tomorrow. And that stuff is important. You kind of see I'm having to kind of force it on here, like smush it, because it doesn't want to stick. The hole that I'm passing right now, that is the whole access for our spare tire. So we don't need that anymore, but I accessed that so that I could pull up the cable that was holding the old spare tire. The new spare tire does not fit because it's oversized. So that was that's just one thing we did. And put a little bit extra here on this end, this tail. Make sure we get a good seal on the end of the van. And that one we're gonna just put a little bit more here on this tail. Okay, go through, make sure we didn't miss anything. I'm gonna make sure we put a little bit around this washer, just like that. That way when we squeeze it down, make sure it gets in place or stays in place throughout the life of the van. All right, and then now it's time to double check. So we want to go through, make sure there's no gap, more than an inch. That doesn't have adhesive on it. Let's see here, let's get that. Okay, so clock is ticking now, so we need to take our squeegee, which, where is it? There we go. We need to make sure we knock down any of these high areas. So like this one right here is a little too high. That one. Yeah, just look around. These over here. Anything that got a little too high when you were talking. Everything needs to be nice and low. All right, this looks excellent. Perfect. I'm gonna scrape that out of the way. All right. Now, let's go get our piece of wood. Now it's good to practice on how you get this in the van before you get it in the van. And I've done it a couple of times, so there's a couple different ways, but I need to try and float this before it comes down. So just like that on this back side. And I'm gonna do the back side first and then let it fall down. And then I have alignment marks that I need to follow. And then as soon as I have them good, my next priority is these two holes right here. I need to make sure they are absolutely perfect. So go ahead and grab your bolts. And that is a great sound. Perfect. So just give it a good push back. All right, so that looks good. Very good to go there. I'm just going to check under the van to see if they're crooked at all. They come out. And they're good. Okay. So the floor is in. Now we can walk on it. We're going to bring our tools in so we can go ahead and start drilling our holes up there. So we need our drill, aluminum, countersink, bit, and we need our number 10 1.25" screws. And we need 5 of them. All right, so now we can walk on it. Just want to make sure we got this as far forward as we can. Okay, now you can walk on it. Okay, so let's again make sure we didn't move it. So first we're going to take the piece of aluminum, I'm going to lay it down, and just for a visual reference we're going to get our line. And this is just so we don't do something dumb and countersink, you know, on the edge of the piece of aluminum. It's a good thing to do when you're working late at night, you know. And then, just as a double check to ourselves, we need to make sure we come through, and we're just going to put a little dot in the center where we want to screw down this piece of wood. So I can't do it here because when I was cutting this, I was going to remove this piece, but instead I decided to leave it, and I wasn't watching my mark, so I cut into about right there. This is going to be fine, it's going to be glued down, but I need to back up the screw right there. All right, next let's go ahead and get our countersink. Remember, the screw is your guide for countersinking. It's going to tell you how big to make it. That one's perfect. This is just going through the top of the aluminum, not the van. And once that's done, we can get our Phillips. And you want your drill on the high torque setting. You want to stay straight up. And remember, it's cutting through the aluminum, so just be prepared. And then as soon as you feel the board clamp down, stop. Don't strip out the screw through the aluminum. All right, that feels good. I'm gonna do the next one. I know I need more than one drill, but the DeWalt, the other one, is not working, so. Yeah, as soon as you see that just kind of sink just a little bit, make sure you stop. And on top of what we're doing to get this nice and flush, we're gonna put a piece of board down here and put a lot of weight on this joint so that the glue in these middle parts pushes out. We could have drilled more, but it's really not that big of a deal. We're putting 10 screws in it, so I think if you doubled it up, I think that'd be a little crazy. This is, for most people don't do this, so. That's the last one. All right. So I think what I'm going to do, that did lift this edge up right here. So I'm going to carefully do one really close to the edge. So right here. And hopefully that's going to grab into the aluminum, because I didn't the aluminum is not, I didn't extend it all the way out because I never want any sharp edges potentially touching electronics. So okay, that's good. We did hit it. Excellent. Awesome. Nice and flush, very strong. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so this, let's put a little bit of extra pressure here to get that glue squeeze from these middle pieces. All right. Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah, so really after we sand this, or put the epoxy on it and sand it, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be super, it's already very flush. All right, do we have any questions? Are people watching? Not really, it's late. That's okay. We will talk to you guys very soon. All right, let me turn the light down on here just a little bit. There you go. Well, you guys can see the floor here. We did a great job. So we are going to let this floor just do its thing, dry up. We're going to come by tomorrow. We may trace out some stuff, but we'll do. I'm gonna put the weight on here tonight, and then we'll come back tomorrow and do the epoxy. So I'm gonna show you how I transfer the weight on this, especially this middle seam. Even though we have the glue, we really want to make sure that we have a lot of weight on there. So I'm going to put this on here. And you guys can guess in the comments what is in these boxes. I need my other piece of wood. I have a wider piece somewhere. Actually, I'm gonna come back to that one. I need to get the tire. Yes, I have the spare tire for the van is part of the floor procedure here. now we can put on this one, this middle piece. All right, guys, that is it for the live stream. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was helpful if you guys are learning how to put in your own flooring system. Yeah, that's pretty much what it takes. So, it's a little bit more complicated as far as, complex as far as, you know, the step-by-step. It's not a just buy it and install it type of thing. This is designed for the DIYer that's looking to save money and do it themselves, put their own flooring system in. And if you guys haven't watched the other live streams and this is the first one you're seeing, the template that I got was from AVC Rig. They're in our Colorado, or Evergreen, Colorado Adventure Van Expo coverage. So you get an interview with them. And instead of buying their high-end pre-insulated, pre-cut flooring system, you can buy the template, which is the exact same template that they're mapping to cut that, but you can just get the paper and cut out your own wood, source your own wood locally, same as insulation. And so that was what this video was about. It was showing you that process and what you can do. And the reason I chose this one in this van, not only to make this video, but it was because I'm removing a lot of material from the floor. So I cut a lot of ports out here. I cut a lot of stuff for the battery, the Webasto heater, the shower floor pan, the flip and fold seat, the steps. And that's a lot of material removed. So if you're gonna buy a one and done floor system, you probably wanna keep all that intact and use most of the floor. You know, I'm probably cut out as much wood as one whole panel for the stuff that we're putting in this van. So it just made sense that this would be a better option to go. It's a little bit more work, but I got to customize the cable tray under the floor, and that was really nice. So I didn't have to find some way to pull everything through the walls. I did use one cavity that the Adventure Wagon makes a little bit larger so you can pull wires through. But all in all, this is pretty much it. From here, we'll go to the next part of this series, which is putting in the lawn sill. Now there's many types of flooring that you can put in this. You can put a click-in flooring, or like the click-lock flooring. You'd like to have something waterproof if you're going to do that, just so that you don't have a leak in the van or you spill something and it gets to this wood. If you do anticipate doing something like that, you'll want to make sure that you seal this wood. Tomorrow we're actually going to be sealing this wood with an epoxy, kind of like an adhesion promoter type thing. It's designed so that the wood can mate to the epoxy better. So we'll be doing that tomorrow, so look forward to that. But yeah, you can put any flooring system really that you want. You can go really high end, like the 2Tech 2 flooring. That's pretty popular, but I've already purchased the Black Coin lawn sill. So it's pretty standard. That's what's going in this van. It's going to kind of keep the theme of like black, bamboo, gray, dark gray kind of theme that we have in the van. So we've got good lighting, but like nice dark colors. And yeah, so hope you guys check out the live stream tomorrow. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Like this video if you enjoyed it. If you think this will be helpful for somebody, share that to them. Give them the link to this video. Help them with their van build install. I'll do a quick plug for the DIY van build cheat sheet. If you guys are looking for an easy way to save time and money with your van build, check out the DIY van build cheat sheet. It's completely free, and it's essentially an Excel sheet of all the products that I've used over the last 3 years, both electrical, fasteners, insulation, roofing, solar, and what I really like is the tools. So this has all the Amazon links. It also helps support the channel, so we really appreciate it. And yeah, it's just a one-stop shop to check out stuff that I've personally bought. You don't have to worry about it, vetting the products and stuff like that. So it's a good list. And guess what? It's completely free. Put your name and email address, click download. It's going to come straight to your inbox. And yeah, so check it out. But once again, guys, I really appreciate if you guys have stayed all the way to the end of this live stream. Check out the other videos we have. We've got really popular videos when we go to do coverage of the Adventure Van Expos. There's a lot of interviews with the vendors there. You get to see a ton of cool products. Get to really immerse yourself in some different van designs. Kind of brainstorm if you haven't decided on kind of your layout or van build, what you want to do. Those videos are awesome. The Bend, Oregon video is crushing it. It's doing really, really well. So thanks once again, everyone that is subscribed, checking the channel out. I'd love to hear your comments, suggestions for future videos. And we're going to sign off here, and we will see you guys in tomorrow's live stream.